What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Phil Sarpong. I'm glad to be able to be with you guys this morning. Um, the state of our world is in crisis. There's a lot that's going on. There's a lot that's happening, and I just wanted to share a few thoughts that I had about everything that's going on. A lot of people are fearful right now. A lot of people are anxious. There's been so much that has happened in 2020, from everything with the coronavirus to a lot of different environmental disasters happening, to racial situations happening, to people getting murdered and killed on the streets in broad daylight for everybody to see. And so it's been tough. It's been tough. I have a lot of friends from different backgrounds, from different ethnicities, from different walks of life that have, their own personal opinions about things that have gone on in this world. And I don't know, there's time and time again where I can go through social media and I can still see just comments that just don't seem human to me. Like, it just doesn't seem like the type of comment that someone should make if they're a human. If they value their life, if they value another person's life, another human being's life. Because some of the comments can be just inconsiderate and naive or ignorant. I think at the end of the day, the best way for me to sum up everything that's been going on is that this country has had a disease for a very long time, the U.S., and there's so many great things about this country: freedom of speech, the freedom to do and be whoever you want to be, the opportunity to try and make money and try and make a name for yourself, and the American dream. So many immigrants come from this country. I'm an immigrant that moved to this country, and we moved here to get a better life. And thankfully, we've been able to work towards that. We've been able to work very hard to have a better life. I've seen my parents work extremely hard so that my brother and my sister and all of us could have an opportunity to become whoever we want to be. And so with that, I've seen a lot of comments that have, like I said, have not felt to be human. Like like the comments have felt like they've been taken from this. They've been removed and detached emotionally from humans that are hurting. I'm not saying that this country isn't great, but this country isn't perfect. And there's a lot we can do better. And for a country that talks about freedom and liberty and equality, there are people in this country that hear that and that think of the United States as a hypocritical country. Because how can you say that there's liberty for all and there's equality when it's so obvious that people aren't being treated like everybody else, like the majority? And I hope that as the majority, when you see the minority in pain, that you come together in unity and in strength, and you speak up for the minority, and you stand up for the minority, because it's your country too. And no one wants to be a hypocrite. And so I don't quite understand people's frustration on the Black Lives Movement. I don't understand people's frustration on the different types of rioting that's going on. I will say that looting and burning down businesses that could be black businesses is certainly not the step in the right direction, and can definitely set people off and turn people off. But I hope that we can look behind those things. It's a domino effect. Everything's connected. And I hope that we don't just look at the product and the results that are happening in this country, and yet we look to the source. And that source might be you. You know, you might have to look within yourself to see if there is prejudice, to see if there is racism, to see if there is a mindset that you thought didn't really exist in you, or a privilege that you never thought you had, but that you actually have. But then also the source of the systemic racism that's been a part of our country for so long. And this is why you can have two groups of people. One group that says, man, liberty for all, this country is amazing, there's freedom for everybody, you can be whoever you want to be, there's the American dream. And then there's the exact opposite group of people that are like, no, they've been killing us, they've been telling us that we're not good enough. Every time we try and do something, we always get turned down. We always have to look in fear whenever we go out, whenever we drive, whenever we say something, that the treatment isn't fair and it isn't equal. And so you have one group of people that doesn't want to listen to that doesn't want to believe that their beloved country could be as tainted as other people are saying. You know, you have people that don't want to believe that, and you have people that are not listening to that. And you have people that are ignorant of that. And I think that is such a deadly thing, because any time that someone is yelling and screaming and wanting and telling you that they're oppressed, and telling you that that things are not the way that they seem, that things aren't equal, that things aren't fair, it is the majority's job and priority to listen to that, to just listen, to just be there, to just ask questions, to just try and understand, to try and envision themselves in that person's shoes, whether it's themselves or a family member, but to just try and envision that. It doesn't have to be just a black issue. It could just be a human thing. Just see them as people. Just see them as human beings just like yourself. And so I've had a lot of different emotions this week, especially me being a black man. You know, how do I respond to the unrest and the adversity that's going on in this country and that's going on in this world? And, you know, I see so many of my friends speaking up, so many of my non-black friends speaking up and acknowledging their privilege, and acknowledging the things that aren't right in this world. There's protests everywhere. There's riots everywhere. There's flames everywhere. But I encourage you, I hope this isn't just a phase where people get excited for one moment and then they go back to their lives the next moment. I hope that this is really a turning point for a lot of people, a turning point for our nation. Because I don't want people to think that, well, you know, they're rioting the wrong way, that they shouldn't be looting. I personally will admit, I don't think looting is right. I personally am not choosing to loot, but I understand where it comes from. I understand the pain. I understand the actions and the mindset behind those actions, and that people are just fed up. People are just fed up. If you beat someone down long enough, eventually they're going to want to fight back. They are going to fight back. And I think instead of looking at the results of what's going on with the buildings, I hope that we can attach humanistically to people's emotions, people's fears, people's anxieties about their life here on this planet. And I hope we can just empathize with those souls and be there for those souls and stand up for those souls and be a voice for those souls and talk to our families and talk to the people that are ignorant, that are limited in their way of thinking, and encourage them to open up their minds, open up their hearts, so that this is a human problem. There are human beings that don't feel like they are treated like human beings. They feel like they're treated like animals. They feel like they're treated like lesser of a human being. And that's not okay. And if you're a human being, that shouldn't sit right with you. You should want to do something. You should want to help somebody in some way. And so overall, I wanted to just make this video for saying that I hear and I'm listening to the voice of so many that are hurting, and I encourage you to do that as well. To pray for those that still don't understand, to pray for those that still don't want to see what really is going on and what has been going on in our country for some time. I have personally witnessed overt racism happen to my family members, and I've experienced systemic racism happen to me. And I can tell you, it's one thing for the overt racism to happen because you can point it out and it's obvious and you can see it, and there's like really little discussion on whether it's okay. Like most human beings, if they see overt racism, something like lynching, something like beating someone up for no reason, they'll say like, okay, that's not right. But for the systemic racism that's been happening for a long time, and that probably will be something that we deal with for a long time, I realized something, that at least with the systemic racism, I can still breathe. I can still make decisions on what I want to do with my life. I can still go home to my family, be with the ones that I love, hang out with my friends. I can still go after my dreams. But the overt racism, taking the life of another human being, stealing the hope that they have, the opportunities that they have of one day, of them fulfilling their own dreams, of them being able to go home to their own families, of them being able to hang out with their friends and to live the life that they want to live. I hope that really speaks to your heart in knowing that that's not okay. We'll deal with the systemic racism. I believe that generation after generation, the systemic racism will become less and less. But this overt racism, this killing of people, that has to stop. And if there's any people out there that are saying, well, but this, but that, but they did this, but they shouldn't do that, I just hope that you can attach yourself in a humanistic way to those people's emotions, to those people's burdens, and to what those people have been through. And I appreciate those who, like I said, who aren't black, that are speaking out and voicing their own heart as well. We need that. We really do need that. Because the minority who is oppressed will never be able to pull themselves out of oppression. Even when slavery was going on, it was the majority that said, okay, slavery is enough. We've had enough. The majority was the ones that made that decision. It's not about the minority picking themselves up. We've been doing everything that we can do. It's about the majority standing up for the minority, being willing to put their bodies out there to protect, to stand up. And I think that's really how we make a difference. I think that's enough for now. Just want to share my thoughts. Hope you guys are safe. Hope you guys are doing well. And I'll see you guys in the next video.